Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Enoka said, praise be to the earthly mother, the Pachamama. Praise be to the Holy Spirit, the Kahe, in the name of his only begotten Son, Motsah the Lamb, unification to the nation. Oh my goodness, am I loving what I'm finding on my brothers and sisters in Southeast Asia, man. This is some really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Really coinciding with many things I've been studying. Now, I actually told my boy Dean, as well as my brother Izzy, about a dream that I had. And this is probably the reason why I actually did a haplogroup test in the first place. It's because I had a dream, and for whatever reason, I was doing a test at a doctor's office, and she read a list that said haplogroup D. And I was just like, what? No way. That's Asian. That's what I said in the dream. I was like, what? That's Asian. And she just shrugged her shoulders. And I woke up and I was just like, damn, now I'm curious. Now, of course, you guys saw that, no, I got haplogroup J. You know, supposedly I'm Jewish. But that doesn't really mean anything. It's just a migration group. And from what I showed you really the only tribe that was really in the Middle East like that was the House of David. So and that's something that kind of what the Most High has been showing me, really, anyway, with my last name, being Quechuan. Not just Quechuan, it's almost Incan. Only the Incans celebrated the Ramies, or they celebrate the Inti Raymi. That's an Incan custom. So I'm from the West Indies. Incans were shipped to the West Indies. So that's all it could mean. I don't necessarily have to be a Jewish person. And even if I am, I'm just saying this, just because I really truly believe it. If I'm not, I would love to serve the children of Israel. I would love to. I serve them now. I could have a lot of love for them. I understand that they've gone through the most. And I only wish that the Gentiles had the same mindset, but they're not going to, because I'm your brother, so I can understand you a lot more than they can. They can't, so they can't see it that way. Some of them can, and some of them will be blessed because of that. But that's always been my mentality, and it always will be. So anyway, we've gone over the haplogroup D before. And after I had that dream, it actually led me to Japan, believe it or not, because I was looking, all right, well, who has haplogroup D? And I was like, the Ainu of Japan have haplogroup D. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, the Tibetans have haplogroup D, the Tibetan Islands, okay, cool. But I was focusing on Japan because, no one ever thinks, oh, Japan or the Japanese, or at least the ancient Japanese, are the Israelites. They don't think that. But they are. They absolutely are. But something that hit me, the Tibetans also have this same haplogroup, the same migration pattern that spread all around Southeast Asia and, just around Asia in general. And all of them have a specific look to them. They all look like Shemites pretty much. Let's click on this because let me show you what I mean. This haplogroup is found primarily in East Asia and the Andaman Islands. And if you scroll down, they'll also tell you that it's found in Japan. It says it right here if you can see it. But I said haplogroup D is also found in populations in China proper, I don't know what that means, and Korea, but with much lower frequency than in populations of Tibet and Japan. So haplogroup D is spread all over the place, right? And what I really do believe that this haplogroup is one of the migration patterns of the Northern Kingdom. Based on what I'm researching right now, I'm going to show you guys, but I'm just going to tell you early in this video. I believe the Northern Kingdom lands were in India. We're in Southeast Asia. I believe that. Because it makes so much more sense as to why Prester John set up in India, or why the Davidic line set up an India, quote unquote, or a kingdom in South India. Why would they do that if it's not their land? but it is their land. That's why they also set up one in Africa, because some of that's their land too. Also set up one in somewhere in the Americas, I believe this Peru. So this whole thing is coming together, and it makes so much sense. And the Israelites were below the equator, because Lemuria is below the equator. You know, the Congo and South Africa and parts of East Africa is under the equator. And Peru's under the equator. Let's see. And their land is separated by the Endosphere, which is really kind of like a mountain range. And it's in contrast with the Sinosphere. And there's a lot of references to Sin, the Canaanite forefather of that area of China. A lot of references to Sin. Let me show you what I mean. Look at those mountain ranges. Very, very interesting. A lot of that plateau land in China, you can't grow anything on. Those lands aren't very fertile. But it seems like this place is almost made to where it's almost like a fortress, that they're separated from a certain group of people, right? Very, very odd, very, very odd, right? I found that to be very odd. Excuse me. Also, if you've been studying the books of remembrance, you'll understand that the Israelites need to be around a landscape like this, just like this. So the Himalayas mountain range is perfect for spiritual growth and getting closer to the Irekadoshoi, getting closer to your purpose. But I can't talk too much about that. You guys just got to study that on your own. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's see. What was Kina referring to before? Albanians referred to Kina as China. Bavarians referred to Kina as China. The Danish referred to Kina as China. Hawaiians referred to Kina as China. Now, what is Hawaii? Hawaii was a part of Hawaii or Hawilia, the ancient lands of Joktan or Shem, who comes from Shem. But many of the lands of Shem were sunken. Many of them were sunken. Shem had so many more lands, but hey, you know, the Most High, if he's going to give you the best lands on earth, he expects the most from you. Norwegians call China Kina. Serbo-Croatians, they also referred to China as Kina. Swedish referred to China as Kina. So all these different peoples, they referred to China as Kina. So what was the sea that the Northern Kingdom was near? Oh, KINAroth. Not CHINAroth. Not KINAroth. That's what they're trying to change it to. It's KINAroth. Kina. They're near China or Kina. They're pretty much in Southeast Asia. That's the area of the Northern Kingdom's lands. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because why would the Most High give them some dust bucket in the Middle East? Some of them have lands in Africa. Some of them have lands in Asia. And the Southern Kingdom had lands, you know, in South America. Then I believe the Nephites came to North America. Because you can't really go to North America unless the Most High leads you to there. Because all the waters push away from North America. And they weren't going to go through Central America because other people were living there. I don't think the Most High gave them those lands yet. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Let me see. Genetic diversity in the Andean population from Peru and South America. I was just looking at, you know, these different DNA. I don't hold DNA to that however regard, but, you know, it's going to say something, right? It's like correlation. It's going to say something. The genetic variability of a Quechua-speaking Andean population from Peru was examined, right? Most of them say that they have some sort of Native American background with a little bit of a mix of European or African, quote unquote. But they pretty much were saying that in this article, they were saying that there was some sort of mixing that occurred, you know, between two groups of people who could have been related, but probably could have been removed. That's at least what I got out of it. Now, I looked at the Nazca before my Tribe of Asher video, and I'm thinking, well, maybe this was a mixture of Canaan. What I really think this was, honestly, I think that this was a mixture of the Northern and the Southern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom, when they came over here, when they came back over here pretty much, and fled their lands, because that's what happened, right? The Northern Kingdom did leave their lands, right? Not all of them, but, you know, a good amount of them did leave their lands. And the Northern Kingdom is much bigger than the Southern Kingdom. So, hey, there's going to be a lot more of them. Is that not the case? So if you have all of these, you know, light-skinned people with with jet black hair, where do you think they came from? If they're supposedly not the first people's hair, right? You know, it just makes a lot more sense, because it's just like, why would they assimilate so well into their culture? These don't look like Europeans. These kind of look like Asians. So these people pretty much came over here, right? That's kind of what happened, at least what I think. Now we're going to get into the Tibetan braids, because I could not get over this. Why do they have hairstyles like this? Very interesting. This is a very pretty lady, I must say. But look at this hairstyle. Reminds me of so-called Black American women, right? They love using that hairstyle. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. But what I found even more interesting, let me see. Look, it's right here. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let me see. But look at this. Mount Yako, what I believe to be Mount Zion. The Incans, you know, they sacrifice children here, but look at the hairstyle that these children have. Same micro braids. Same micro braids, bro. Now I wanna do I wanna examine some similarities between Peruvians and Tibetans. So you could see how she looks, right? This is a Tibetan, by the way. This is not a Peruvian. Looks just like one, right? This is a Tibetan. This is a Tibetan. You'll see something similar. They all have these red cheeks. What is that about? This is a Tibetan. These are Peruvians. Same red cheeks, right? Same red cheeks. Same red cheeks. Same red cheeks. I don't know what that's about, but there's just a lot of similarity. Even how they dress. Just the people in Southeast Asia in general, like the Yunnan we went over in the other video, they dress just like Peruvians. That's what I'm starting to think. I think the Northern Kingdom's lands are actually, you know, in China, in Southeast Asia. Crazy stuff, man. Or before I was about to end the video. So where is the Sea of CHINAroth, or KINAroth? Is it the Bay of Bengal? Is it the Arabian Sea? Is it the South China Sea? Maybe it's the South China Sea, South China Sea. I mean, it did call it the Yam. Let me see if I could find CHINAroth real quick in the Strongs. I love ads. I have to go here. The sea. sea. Let's see. Yes, Yam, which can mean south. It could mean Western Sea, but it also can mean South Sea. So is it talking about a sea in the south? Now we've went over where south is. From the very beginning, I just think the compass was just flipped. Like north was south and east was west. But after the Egyptian captivity, I think that west was south. Modern day west is, or modern day west was Egyptian south during that time, or at least our south. Or I don't know. I really don't know because the compass is all messed up. But the reason why I'm saying that the Pacifics are south, I've already explained this, but I'll say it again. Queen Sheba, she comes from the Pacifics, but Hamashiach called her the Queen of the South, right? It calls the Great Sea Yam, which is south. Now they can say also can mean west, modern day west, right? So it does fit. That's all I'm trying to say. That's why it says west or south, because it's modern day west or ancient south. So the Great Sea is to the west. The Yam is to the west. Queen Sheba came from the west or the south. Shalom, Selah Kala.